Peace, everybody.
Brother Mo, how you doing?
Peace,
Good,
brother
bro.
Mo.
How you doing? Peace to you.
Let's wait a couple more minutes so we can. A couple other brothers gonna come on, and I appreciate y'all coming on.
Peace, everybody.
Brother Mo, how you doing?
Peace,
Good,
brother
bro.
Mo.
How you doing? Peace.
One second. One second. Man, what did I do? Okay. All right. One second, figure this out. All right, here we go. Man. Here you go, Willie, Brother Eula.
Peace, brothers.
All right.
Peace, bro.
Peace, everybody.
Peace, brother.
He's down on the floor.
All right. So what I want to talk about is manhood actually and the crisis of it. But before I get into that, did anybody see Tyler Perry the special with the vaccine?
No.
My niece sent it to me, but I didn't watch it.
Watch it. Okay, so let me see if I can share it real quick. It's only a few moments. Let's see. One second. See if I can share. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And this is not me saying whether or not you should take it or not, but just how they think we stupid. Let's see. Here it is. I put it in the slasher so I could just access it real quick and show it. Oh, I thought it was ridiculous. It's of course a female black doctor on there, and they're basically just pandering to black folks and using Medea to do it. Let's see. Second. Man, it's moving slow today. Oh wait, no, this is right here. All right, here it is. I'm gonna skip to the part where he's talking to the sister.
To understand how infections happen in a community and what, most importantly, what we can do to prevent those infections from happening.
And Dr. Kimberly Manning.
Hi.
Hi. Tell us about you and what you do.
So I'm a professor of medicine. I'm based at Grady, been there 20 years. And I'm the Associate Vice Chair for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion in the Department of Medicine.
Okay, so hold on. So I actually want to skip to the part where she talked to us like we in the hood or something. Let's
In this discovery of this mRNA.
The center of the discovery, he was driving the project.
mRNA. Tell me what that is.
Well,
You gotta talk to me like
I'm going to defer to my
Yeah, you gotta talk to me like
because
you gotta talk to me
Kimberly
like a
describes,
5-year-old.
Kimberly
Yeah.
describes this in a perfect way.
good. Talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old because
Okay.
you're not only talking to me, but you're talking to people of all age ranges right
Yeah,
now
yeah.
and all economic and social backgrounds and educational
Absolutely.
backgrounds.
And so I think the first thing to know is the difference between DNA and RNA.
Right.
So I like to think of it as DNA is like your blueprint for your house, right? And RNA is like a contractor that kind of gives information about what to do so that the blueprint comes out okay. And so what happened is they mapped out what the virus looks like and found out that there are these specific proteins in the virus, one of which is called a spike protein. And I call the spike protein the gangster spike protein because that little gangster spike protein, that's when it gets in your cell and makes you sick. And so this is what the technology did. This is so dope. So what they did was they said, what if we made a vaccine that was just an mRNA coding only for that little gangster spike protein? And what if we could introduce that into your body, right? And then have your body develop an immune response that then remembers and recognizes it when it actually gets the virus, right? And so the way that it works is I kind of like to think of it as your friends and your homies in your neighborhood, right? So you get this mRNA vaccine, right? It's wrapped up in this little lipid layer that gets it into your cell. Once it gets into your cell, this vaccine, it's the contractor. So it tells the cell, we're gonna make these spikes. You start making the spikes, right? But then your body goes, whoa, wait a minute. This is not supposed to be here. Let me call security. Let me call in, all my people. And that is your immune response. So you have these cells called macrophages. They come in to swoop up the cell, but not before your body sends a message to some of these immune cells, like your T cells and your B cells, to create that memory so that when you see this virus come after you later, then you know what to do. So I kind of think of it like, when something happens later, you already got the vaccine and you have these antibodies waiting for something to pop off, and you got the T cells looking around to see what's happening. Then you get hit with COVID, right? But the T cells remember now. They have some memory, right? So they're gonna sit back in the cut and be like, oh, that is not who I think it is. And then the antibody's been waiting for something to pop off, and they're like, oh, no. And they just rush. And that's really what happens. I mean, this is really what happens. So you are not getting the virus itself. You are getting the little contractor that comes in, tells you to make these spikes, right? You make those spikes, develop an immune response that is the immune response that gets rid of the actual virus. And the other part that people should remember that I think is really great is that when you get this little mRNA piece in you, it's like the UPS man. It comes in, it drops off the instructions, and then it bounces. So that's why we freeze it, and that's why it's so cold. We have to keep it at a certain temperature because that vaccine is not stable at.
All right, that's good. I just wanted to, I just had to show y'all that, you know, whether or not, again, people decide to get the vaccine is one thing, but I'm just kind of like appalled at how they talk to us like we're stupid.
Right.
You know, like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like gangsters fight, like you don't have to.
A little extra, ain't it?
A little much. It was a little.
Yeah.
And I also thought that was the fact that it was Medea doing it. I thought that was a springboard into the topic, which is again manhood. So I mean, I know what I think about how manhood is under attack, but I'm interested in what some of you brothers think as far as that. And what do you think about as far as Black masculinity or manhood being under attack?
Definitely under
Destroyed.
attack.
It's not the attack finish, man. Destroyed.
It's destroyed. You see, destroyed. Why you say
it's this? Because how the Black woman is like for instance, that Black woman there, she don't see herself her equal, right? A lot of Black women, when they achieve this material world, they turn around and you see most of them, they ridicule the brothers, they ridicule single parent, they ridicule the jobs we do, right? And it's like they convert it into something different. And this is the only time they would claim Black, when either it's oppressing them on the job or it's they need props in that community they adopted. So they'll always come back to do stuff like what she's doing there, right? So she get that prop and go back into her profession with it, right? As the savior, as the one who helped the Black community to come on board. So
yeah. And then, Willie, was you about to say something, brother?
No, I was good. Yeah, I was saying manhood is definitely under attack. I believe if we were created, especially men, in the image of God, and in our society, it's just a godless society. So manhood cannot thrive or live in a society that doesn't love or recognize God and for who He is. That thus for us men as the image, especially if you're trying to live underneath the commandment which God has given to be in the essence of being a man in totality, you will see how much you're truly hated, not only as a man, but how much God is hated. And when you try to link the two, the man to his purpose, you will see the world come against you. So it's definitely it's a gift all the way around to be a man. At the same time, it's a living curse because of the world you're living in with it, your manhood. So
if I'm understanding you say you connecting the attack on manhood with just as an overall rebellion of mankind.
The overall rebellion of mankind is the overall rebellion towards God. Yes.
Yes.
I see it in that sense. So, it's like you can't have manhood and this world together. It just don't seem to thrive together at all. It just total contrary one to another.
With manhood comes order, and this world's turning everything upside down.
Absolutely.
Right.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Somebody else want to chime in on that?
But isn't it? Go ahead, Mo. Go ahead.
It just seemed like it's like an effeminization on manhood. It's almost like we not supposed to be here anymore. it feels like they want to just eliminate men totally altogether, because if you look at the way the young boys are growing up, you really don't see a man in the house at all. You just see, you know, a mother or a wife or a lady raising a boy. And to me, in my opinion, it just seems like he's not going to have a full understanding of what he should become, especially with the small amount of role models for real men we have in society. Most of the role models, they kind of just feminine, if you think about it.
I mean, clearly, yeah. The one we were just watching.
Right.
$1 billion wearing a dress.
Exactly.
I think he, Lee Daniels, as far as modern times go, have done, at least in media, one of the worst jobs or the best job if you want to destroy Black masculinity.
Right.
You know, even from the narratives of those stories to him literally wearing a dress. You can't, you know, for a while I would see Tyler Perry, I'm like, who was that? So I'm used to seeing this man in a dress. I'm not saying I watched all the movies. I'm just saying, like, that was just a popular thing. So yeah, and as far as it goes with the men, it's a term. Men are becoming disposable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They need men. Men built civilization, but at the same time, we are getting degraded. So, you know, we need you to lift these things. I even heard a woman say that men should only be used for her particular purposes, whether it be to lift something, to be told what to do. I liken it to the scripture where it says, "He was a wood and drawers of water." That's what men have become in American society. And I can't remember if it was you, Brother Mo, or Brother Willie. I mean, it may have been you. You talked about an example in the home. That was you, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the out of wedlock birth rate, it's like you don't.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have men.
Exactly.
A lot of times you don't have men there to show what a man is. You know, it's upside down. I heard a woman say today that a man is her property. I literally heard a woman say. I heard
crazy.
What you about to say, brother?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, you.
Yeah. What I was saying, it's funny y'all say that. I think I was seeing something. You notice, and you're right. They changing first. They use a man that got rich off of being a woman. Then on top of that, you notice a lot of the suits. I used to think about back coming up, the suits they used to make now. You know, back in the day, you know how they used to be, you know, baggy fitted. You know, not you know, the manly. Not a suit. Do you know all the great suits, all the nice suits, the expensive suits are made by gay men? I did not know that. All of it. Giorgio Armani.
Gucci.
Go ahead.
No, I was just
all of it.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, because and then you think about, because when you putting that on, you thinking about what the designer wants you to look like.
Yeah. His image.
So I was last time I was suit shopping. I just, you know, you can't just look for your size. You have to determine if it's a quote unquote modern fit or slim fit, because that means it's gonna be super tight.
Right.
Even with the look at how the pants are even for young boys.
Yeah.
They like that phase. They had those skinny jeans. I mean,
I couldn't even get no Levi.
No,
I couldn't get no Levi. I gotta order my Levi. I went there. I said, "Man, what's going on with y'all Levi?" I bought a couple of shirts, but I couldn't go in this. I can't go in these stores no more and get no Levi's. They all fit. I mean, I ain't got no what's the proper word for it? I'm be nice with this. I ain't got no genital rooms. You know what I'm saying? I put them. I'm like, what in the world? You know what I'm saying? I put them in. They were spent. They more expensive than the regular jeans. I go like the JC Penney's or I gotta order them off with Levi's to get the ones that I need. I always like the Levi's in the t-shirt. That's I always roll. Even coming up, still like that. I ain't really never was a fancy guy.
Brother, I have one thing to say, right? Isn't this a consequence of the curse? After we step on the slave ship, we saw the destruction of the man because he was a threat to the slave owner.
Absolutely.
Hello?
One could say that because a man, period, is a threat. A man is a threat because regardless of what they're showing you as far as, Wonder Woman and all that, and you got women in heels, they fighting all these guys that are weighing about 100 pounds. The reality is that men fight war.
Right. And
when men fight war and are dominated, women don't get on a battlefield and say, I'm gonna fight. Women are spoils of war. And when it comes to slavery, the program that's being pushed now to actually, which is largely the feminist agenda, to put women on top of society, because it's all about the acquisition of power. That program was put on us first. And it topples the home. And it puts the man on the bottom and women. Like if you see or even have heard of those old examples of those women like quote unquote Aunt Jemima, how they would be running everything. Men were a threat. And then when you could push that fast forward to the 60s when men were getting pushed out of the home. You look at how things are toppled now with how women are on top in the courts, how women are on top in society. That program, that was for us first. So yeah, it is a consequence because you think about who. Let me just read something real quick if I can find it. I was just reading it. This is Frances Cress Welsing. Give me 1 second. She said in ISIS paper, she said all Black people are oppressed. I emphasize here that Black men are oppressed because ultimately it is male muscle mass that oppresses a people, and only male muscle mass has the potential for achieving liberation. So if the men of a people are oppressed, the women are brought under oppression as they are dependent on their men for protection and defense. Women do not have the muscle mass to liberate a people and protect the young. Women develop the young, but the men must provide the protection and the security apparatus. So it's not like, you got all these revolutions even led by women, led by men. So men are always looked upon as a threat. They looked upon, even now, take it out of the revolutionary terms, you look at it now, you just a Black male, you masculine, on a job, you looked upon as a threat.
Right.
You could just be masculine. You have a beard or you're dark skinned, you have a larger stature, you are looked upon as a threat.
So Elisha, where do you see in about probably the next 10, 15 years or so, in your opinion, where do you see manhood at, man? Where do you think is going to be going on, like 2030 or 2035?
Oh my goodness. Unless there's a revolution of culture, it'll be going in the same direction it's going now.
Right.
So totally feminization of males.
Yep.
We're already headed that way. Even if you're not talking about sexuality, look at how we behave. I would argue, even when you look at the urban violence, a lot of that is effeminization.
Right.
Because you're acting upon emotion. You're not acting upon logic.
Exactly. Yep.
So yeah, I would so I say it's gonna get a whole lot worse.
I think so too. I didn't want to sound pessimistic, but I mean, I see the same thing.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all something. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just think this world then hit the point where the iniquity is reached the brim. I think this world is pretty much right there where the Lord destroyed the world the first time. Almost. It's almost there. Man's thought. I mean, well, it's it's close to that point where a man thoughts are wicked continually. I just, that's all you hear me, yeah, even at work and around, wickedness, all around, all around you, everywhere. Even except in my home, but it's just wickedness all around, and a good thing happened there. I was talking to these elders. I was delivering to this senior home, and I was talking, and that they let me know that word is getting out there. And they was talking, and they was talking about what they was talking about what the black man need to do. And I said, and I heard them talking, and they were talking. I said, no, what the black man need to do is repent and start keeping the law. When we start keeping, we need to start teaching these men the laws of God. That's what we need to do, is turn back to the laws of God and start doing what he tell us to do. And then, I went to hitting them with the little scriptures and talking to them. And one lady, and you could tell she was listening. But when I told her that the punishment that's gonna happen to man, boy, I saw it looked like I pulled my gun out of her. I mean, which is a good thing, because it says she's been lied to.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah. I said, do that sound like? Oh, go ahead. And I don't mean to get off.
Seems like she has some fear, basically. Fear. But you were talking about the wrath to come, though. Is that what you were talking about?
Yep.
One thing you were saying, I obviously agree with, is when you were saying, because one thing about the scriptures, we need to return back to that. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about the scripture. I always say it shows you, the Bible in general shows you how to be a man.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It show you how to be a man. Our Mashiach, our Messiah, is the ultimate example of manhood. He is shown how to be a man. So if you don't have a good example, there's one right there in the book. So I'm always thankful for that.
Right.
And that is the answer, because it tells you how to be a man. It tells you how to be a husband. It tells you how to be a father, how to raise your kids. It tells you all of that. So
made me look at myself too. I like, the word of God, when y'all be bringing stuff out, when y'all be bringing stuff out, when you be bringing stuff out, brother, and what y'all be talking, it makes that's what the word of God do. It makes me look at myself, check myself a little bit here and there, as far as being a man, I'm a better husband. First of all, a better man of God. I have more knowledge, but a better husband, a better father. Just make me, and then it helps me better dealing with people and individuals, and working on my temper. And I'm just all the way around better person, man.
I always the Torah or the law is a mirror showing, it shows you where your shortcomings are.
Right.
Just another question: how would you, if I can go around, how would you define manhood? If you had to give it a definition, what would you say?
Manhood is keeping God's commandments in all your circumstances. Standing on that foundation firmly and not getting knocked off of it. I heard brother say something, he was taught the rest of the world, but he said, but not in my house.
Right.
And right. And that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. I hear a lot of stuff going on, but I'm so focused on what's going on in my house. A lot of times I can't be, dismayed with all that stuff that's going on. It is part of problem. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, just sitting back, thinking about all the ways that man is being attacked. But if man doesn't allow it, then, so technically it's man versus man, really. We got a lot of situations where women they don't have the power to take over men. It has to be with the assistance of other men.
We gave it to them.
We giving it to them.
We gave it to them. Yeah.
Well, that's the whole problem right there. So us as men following the Most High, you know, like Eula said, hey, not in my house, and that's like Joshua said, that's for me in
Yes,
my
sir.
house.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Like Joshua said,
Right.
That's right.
for me and my house.
Serve the Lord. And he was kind of like what you're saying. Y'all could make a decision. Y'all can do what y'all want, but as for me and my house, you know, you go and serve those guys you did on the other side of the flood, or those guys you did in Egypt.
Right.
Yeah, he did make that distinction. Like, you know, what was you saying, Brother Isaiah? Somebody else with a definition?
I was the brother said it, brother Micaiah said it. I was gonna say the same thing, is that although I have my struggles in my house because of before changing my life, before becoming a man, and when I say becoming a man, is that when I baptized, I became a man. I understood the things that made me better, made me different, right? And these were obeying God, bringing God into my life and into the house. And I'm not just me, God Israel, right? And Joshua sum it up like what Brother Micaiah said, you know, for me and my house. But in some of us house, it's still a struggle, brother. It's still a struggle because of the outside influence that our other side of the family determined to hold on to, right? And I know some of us sharing that same problem. And does it change my manhood? No, but I have a lot of conflicts in my house because of that. And since then, I know that since coming in the world, I know certain things can happen in my house, and certain things I have to be built gradually, right? Because of behavior and outside influence. That even if you try it, you can't control them.
No,
right?
you got to do what God told you to do.
That's what I'm doing.
You got to like you can't necessarily be worried about if they listening or not. You just got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing. That's what doing exactly what I had to do. I do exactly what God asked me to do.
Right. You just got to stay focused on what God told you to do, and then everything will work out. We have to. We have confidence that the Lord knows that you are doing His will, and when that's the case, then can't nobody stop you from doing that. Can't nobody stop.
And you're right, because I've been doing certain things, and I could see slow change. I don't know if I want the the avalanche change like how I had. I've seen people going slower than I wish them to go, right? I want to see a fast change, right? And as you said, most I will fix that, right? But it's still a battle, my brother. Man,
I don't know.
Man, open up, man. We here to talk to each other, man. Here to do. Say, man, whatever you say, man, help me.
I'm not gonna say it's not a struggle. I'm not. I hear what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
But it's not a struggle. I got to do what God told me to do, and I got to stick to that. I can't look at it any other way.
Right.
Talk about certain things, like if they somebody mentioned somebody bringing a Christmas tree into their home or something like that, and some time ago, you throw that Christmas tree out your house.
Yeah, that was me. I threw that shit out of my house.
That's what you do, and then whatever comes out of that.
I threw it out. I said, none of that in here. I get rid of it, right? And that's what I'm supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Nobody bring on clean food in my house again. Make me see it happen.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta be on it. Yeah. It's like my father was talking about. Oh man, you always. Hey, was when you raised up on it, I said, yes, until I got some understanding. And when I told my pop that, respectfully, I said, Pop, with all due respect, don't feed my kids none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I did it, respectfully, said it respectfully, but I was serious. I told him, look, You eat what you want to eat. That's on you. But do not feed my kids that stuff, you know. And you just gotta let them know. Like they had a little get together. I said, okay, it was on Sunday or something. I said, okay, I go to look outside, little thing for the church. Man, my mother told me they got beef, everything. They got hamburgers and beef, and beef hot dogs. She know I wasn't gonna come. She changed it. Everybody ate that. But I wasn't gonna even come. I don't care what you cook, I wouldn't come. You know, it just
what brother saying made me think, Brother Makai said about like you just gotta do what you gotta do. And it's a mindset. Mm-hmm. And like when to me, I just get my definition of manhood is just when I look at what man was given before a woman even came into the picture.
Purpose.
A man was created and he came into his consciousness, and consciously he knew that God existed. So therefore, automatically God is above him. The Most High is above him. Right. So that's the one we answer to. And I say that to say, because a lot of times we so worried about even what the world think. We worried about what our wives think or our woman think or somebody else. We can't be worried about that. We have to worry about what the Most High think of us. And second, like the brother just said, he gave us consciousness of who he was to put us in position to him. He gave us commandment, and then he gave us purpose. And then you got a woman. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of men in the word even, in some ways, worship their woman.
Yeah.
Because the relationship is totally back. It's not even back. It's just way off. Mm-hmm. They like the hotel Negro who said a black woman is God. Like you are worshiping your woman. Mm-hmm. So I think that, but once you understand what you are and what your position is, it don't matter. Nothing else really matter. Like I let's put it in sports terms. I was watching this interview with John Stockton, and he was saying, they was talking about him and how good he was, and they was saying, other guys, they hated playing with him because he couldn't. He said, yeah, some guys, they be yelling at me, why don't you talk to me? They trying to get him off his game. But he said, man, to be honest, I was so focused on my game, that was the first time I realized you was talking.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it really don't like that. What they saying don't matter. How they feel about it don't matter, as long as you are operating in righteousness.
Yes.
None of that other stuff even matter. And that's what I think manhood is, doing whatever and you doing it under pressure. It's always under pressure, whether it be economic pressure, whether it be societal pressure, whether it be pressure from somebody in your household that wants something else. All that's irrelevant when you have a particular mindset. I think we need to, I know as men, we need to adopt that particular mindset as truly the Most High first and everything else is secondary. Because when you put it in that perspective, what they're talking about don't matter. Well, I'm leaving. There's the door.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
sir. I have a dream speech. They're the door. This is what we're doing here. Mm-hmm. And that puts, because we are also, like, a lot of the definition of men and even women is connected. See, a woman can't even be what she's supposed to be without a man.
Right.
If we set ourselves right by default, we set our wives and women right, and we set our children right. Mm-hmm. We out of position.
Yeah.
We out of position. And when we out of position, they're not gonna be in position. Like the woman said, I heard today, a man is her property. Mm-hmm. That's her mindset. Well, how would you even acquire a mindset like that, except men have been acting in that fashion? Mm-hmm. And that's what's happening. Not me, I'm just saying, in general, we acting in that fashion. So let's
this cat
mindset. What'd you say, bro?
See them is cat, man. They mean lions. They're cats. Those kind of men.
Listen. let me let me give my take on it. Experienced in trouble and tribulations often in this situation, in this subject. Understandable. I understand it 100%. I live it. So basically it would start from the lack of understanding of what a man was in the beginning of any man's relationship with not just his woman, but with God. So if your lack of relationship with God, if you come into a relationship with God later on in life after making you set your stage already in your home, and then you come into knowledge of God later, there's a lot of work to do.
Oh yeah,
playing catch up.
Right.
So
Yes, sir.
so when you try to play catch up in a sense where it's like, okay, I understand what God wants from me. Now I understand I'm not just a male, I'm a man, and I know my position now. And then when you go to reclaim your position, you realize you never was standing in it. And you come to the realization that you are in a straight up battle for your own testosterone. And you come into this understanding, and it's embarrassing. Because I'm a physical specimen in terms of strength and just being able to defend myself as a man. But when it came down to reclaiming what I had since, my birth, it was a fight it was a battle between my relationship with God, my children, my wife, and I realized, and I had to put things in order. What comes first? And you have to understand that God comes first. And when you come into some knowledge and you read and you understand when Christ says, or if you lose all these things for me, you know what you're going to have. So you have to really understand the prioritization of what's really important in this life. And yeah, you may lose your family, you may lose your friends, you may lose your kids. I'm the kind of person, I tried my best to make it comfortable for everyone, but at the same time, there's a breaking point where it's not going to work. And you have to come to that point. And that's the point where I'm standing at that point where it's like, hey, look, we've tried. I've told you this is what we have to do. Okay, we can't work in that direction. All right, so we have to go our own separate way. See, and I understand what's at stake. I have young children, I have a wife, I have a job, and I have a marriage. So all these things are going to be broken up. But if there was never fully a structure, what is broken? What is broken?
Already broke.
Yes, sir.
It's already broke. So at the end of the day, all I can see is in future is rebuilt. All I could actually see is something actually stemming from an actual foundation. Because I have 4 children. I've been married twice, and I feel like I've destroyed 4 children. That's my personal feeling. Like I have brought in 4 children into this world without having myself set to teach or even rear up any children. And I feel like I failed, but also I feel like, hey, these children, we still speak. I still see my children. They still get to see me as a father figure, and I get to still lead by example. They're not totally lost. I can walk that walk God asked me to walk, and hopefully my children, through wisdom, would choose to do the right thing. But I don't think no man nor woman decides to have children and say, you know what, I hope they go to hell one day. But that's the way you leading them when you don't walk right. If you don't come into this world reared right, you're going to end up in my situation where you're trying to fix everything that's been broken, and just pray that you don't, you're not adding to that broad road, So that's my take on it. I do pray daily about everyone coming to this knowledge at the end of the day. You know, whether you could live amongst others or not, peace is priceless, man, at the end of the day. No matter what it's going to cost you, you know, as long as you got God and you got peace, you know, and you can live in another day. Like I always say, if you're alive today, you make it. It's another day to make it better than yesterday. So that's how I see it, brothers. Yeah, it's an uphill battle, and if you can raise your children the right way, that's the most important thing I would say. Raise your children, because we are the last generation. And some of us see what it's like to not be raised right. So let's do this. Let's do this the right way.
Yeah, and that opportunity that's one thing, like you said, having life, it's another opportunity. And that's one thing that's beautiful. The word it's supposed to bring forth transformation. And it brings forth transformation. That means you can change for the better. And although whatever you once were, you don't have to be that. That's a merciful, beautiful thing. So you feel like you failed them, but the fact that number one, you're acknowledging whatever shortcomings you think you may have, and then you're trying to right those, that's a testament in and of itself, a testimony in and of itself. So that's a beautiful thing. And Lord willing, Most High willing, they will see that and say, I'm gonna walk this way. Because I saw my father was always there, but he wasn't always in the truth. And I saw him change. So and that part of that inspired me to say, you know what he talking about, that is God. So you never know, bro. But the main thing, back to what Makai was saying, me and my house, once you make that decision.
And no matter who,
my thing,
God is your circumstance.
It's funny you say all right.
Go ahead.
All right, yeah. I was just saying, my thing is not my household. My thing is my daughter. I'm trying to get to her. I'm feeling where I'm trying to get to my 30-year-old. I'm trying to let her know. I'm trying to get to her before she get grown. Like my son got grown. He still never seen, a lot of stuff. He never saw me curse, do all this other stuff or whatever. He never seen that. So he can never say that he saw that. But at the same time, I think I'm getting to him. He's watching. I'm leading by example, because he got to the point all I do is tell him, and it go through one out the ear. But I like I said, it plant a seed, and I lead by example. And for my older daughter, but I'm trying to reach my 13-year-old. But I'm trying to. But I have to. The mother, I talked to the mother. I said, listen, she having a hard time. I said, listen, you have to stand back and back me up. If you don't back, you can't be going. I can't be going this way and you going that way. If you back me up, things are changed with our daughter. Now this my 13-year-old. I let her know I'm me. You can't change me. You can't change me. You either gonna do it my way, or you gonna stay over there, and I'm just gonna pray for you from this, because my other daughters right here in the household, they look up to her sister. I cannot have her in my house doing whatever, and then my daughter's looking at her and she being a bad example. I can't have it. This house, you can't. Like I told her, I told her, don't ever ask me to buy you no shrimp or whatever. She said, don't ever ask me that. And I told her, this is me. When you with me, you ain't gonna eat none of that stuff. You're not gonna buy none of that stuff. Now, when you go back to your mama's house, you do what you do. But and like I said, I gotta let her know. Right now, I ain't called her or nothing like that. Cause I told her, you ain't gonna say what you want to say and hang up on me, because I've been came up there and then went to jail. You know what I'm saying? But so it's I to the point I do what God does when he was doing with Israel. He moved himself back away, like he did with Israel. He moved himself away because he messed around and got bad, but killed everybody. So at the same time, I know Lord got it, where because the Lord said his soul hated violence. So I stand back and I just pray for him. I keep even with my son, he say little stuff, I keep my distance, stop from doing something to him. I just pray for him, I get away from him. And when I'm calmed down, maybe a week or so, I call him, check on him, love you, son, love you. And even call my daughter. I still need to call her. I ain't called her in months. But like I say, y'all pray for me. But it's just like this. It's just following God. I fear God. It's nobody gonna turn me from that. Do what you gotta do. But the fear of God and know what he gonna do makes, like I say, that's how it don't even matter. Nothing else don't even matter when it comes to God. When it comes to the Most High and His Word, and everything else is second to that. Period. That's just the way I feel. You do whatever you gotta do. I don't care what happened, but me and my house gonna serve the Lord. That goes for anybody that come in here. Period.
If you could go back and tell your younger self something, what would it be? Like some advice.
Man. Word, man, what, man, this word. If I knew what I knew back then, I'm talking about where I'm at now. Oh man, boy, I probably break a record getting kicked out of the church. I mean, if I knew what I knew now, I mean, boy, I'd be
out of the church. Brother Isaiah, what?
Me?
So you come out of the Christian churches, you get kicked out.
What I would do?
Yeah.
What if I had to go back and tell myself?
You could, yeah. Get some advice to him.
Tell him to know this word, to know the truth. And anytime you're going to get a wife, sit down and make sure you give her 10 times, 10-point question interview. To interview her 10 times before you make that choice. Right? Because, I admire brother Micaiah there, and the things he say and his house and all that stuff. And a lot of our mistakes are cultural too, factored in by the culture around us, right? For instance, I grew up with my father. I didn't even know my father till I was 9 years old. And he moved from the Caribbean to the States. And when he moved back when he visited us for the first time, it was 1979 at the volcano Europe. And he came with a bunch of his kids. And he said to me, you know what? My brother and I, right? My brother knew truth as well. He said, yeah, fellas, this volcano Europe, and I had to go to Trinidad with my family. So we thought he'd taking us, right? This man pack up, jump on a plane and go on Trinidad and leave us there to die. And I could never forget that. I was 9, right? And it had this profound effect on me, how I'm going to treat my kids, right? But the father was never there, really, to say. I had a stepfather after that. He sailed around the world. He was sailing on them big cruise, like those big oil tankers, bulk. So we knew about the world and things around the world through him, through things he bought, ornaments and all that. Egypt, he went to Egypt a lot and going to the Suez Canal and all that stuff, right? Great job. But he was, I don't think he was a man. He was a good stepfather in providing, but teaching us the real life, I don't think the men before us knew how to do it. They thought sleeping around was a way. And I learned that way on the block because it was the brothers on the block, right, who taught us. When I say the block, on the street corner, they taught us life and how to grow up and what to fear and you fear things like the guy who we assume was gay in the neighborhood, you fear him, right? You might even join him and beat him. But to go back and say what to do is to get to this word as soon as possible, because I have regrets now I didn't know God long before 4 years. Right, 4 years now I'm in the word. And I sometimes I even think about it. I'm happy I'm here, but how much people's life I could affect by doing the right thing God asked me to do. You know, setting the example, shining the light long before, even in the 30s, 20s. But nobody was there to teach us. Right? Yeah. Was it the right time? You know, and sometimes you think about that. So if I was to go back and change my life, I would tell them about the truth and the word and say the right things. Hopefully I listen then.
Brother Makai, you was gonna say something?
Yeah, I just, Brother Isaiah, I want you to know I'm not insensitive to anything that's...
No, Brother Jet. What? Brother, I hear to Lord.
You know, the Bible lets us know none of us has been through anything different than somebody else.
Yeah, I know, brother.
Things that, you know, everybody's talking about, Brother Willie. I had a wife before my current wife. I understand. I got a 25-year-old daughter. I understand what y'all talking about. Was raised in a situation. I had cousins who spent most of their life in jail. Couldn't even understand what being outside of jail was like. You see what I'm saying? So I understand.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say now is, what's that got to do with what you got to do right now? Understand who God is and doing it. That's it. And you have to have your mind set like that, because you can't be dismayed. I think he told Jeremiah, if you get dismayed, basically God gonna make you dismayed. So you can't be dismayed. We have to understand that what we're seeing now is meant to be. It couldn't be no other way if Satan's running the world. So if you have to watch the way she acting, it has to be that way. Yeah. So you just have to deal with what God told you to do and do it to the best of your ability. And if I could go back, tell myself anything, it would have been to search out stuff, to really seek it out, because, you know, I've been seeking it out for a long time, but, you know, I would hear stuff from men and you know, Black Panther Party, Nation of Islam. I don't even want to go into all that stuff. But the same time, then you start reading stuff, you're like, man, this don't make any sense, right? Fard Muhammad, really? Come on. This didn't make no sense, right? But now,
Brother Makai,
go ahead, brother.
Don't get me wrong. This is Israel here we're talking about. You Israel, I Israel. So I know all of our problems. I know, even if I was 5,000 miles in a different country, it was the same blueprint we were struggling under. The same exact blueprint.
Look at Daniel. Look at Joseph.
Yeah.
Look at, you know, like I said, Israel's in a condition now. You're not going to be able to serve God the way it was lined up, you know, in a righteous land. You're just not gonna be able to do that. So what you gonna do? You know, we can't sit back and, you know, make excuses. And I'm not saying nobody's making excuses. I'm just saying at the end of the day, it can't be anything but I gotta serve God.
Right.
And that's where I'm at. And that's the only way I can be. Or else I'm gonna start faltering.
This is true.
Yep. Exactly.
Well, but just think about this though. Well, I gotta take that back seat. Look, sometimes the Lord has it the way He has it. I just thought about all the time that the Lord. I don't know if y'all ever feel this way, but matter of fact, I know this for sure. The stuff I knew, now I knew it was God. It's time that I probably should have been gone. Matter of fact, I should have been gone, but the Lord was keeping. When you thought you was gonna get in a whole bunch of trouble, but you get a slap on the wrist, or I was supposed to go down one way. I was supposed to go down one way, and I heard a voice that wasn't there that sounded familiar, and it took me another way. Then a shooting happened right there, right where I would have went down. But see, if I knew what I knew then, my son and my daughter wouldn't be here. It's probably, if I knew I'd be too afraid to be doing all this wicked. then it'd probably be hard to find a mate because
we're gonna talk about that next time. No, I'm just saying that just to put that out there. Next time, that's gonna be the discussion.
Okay.
I'm serious.
What was that? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Recollection.
Oh, recollection.
Mate selection.
I'm sorry. I'm on my.
I didn't hear that.
Mate selection.
Mate selection.
Oh, mate selection.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
No question.
Oh my God.
You made me think. Go ahead, brother. I'm not cutting you off. I just want to point that out. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just saying, you know, man, everything I just look at all my steps, man, it got me to this point. Everything next, I like to say, I was 11 years old and asked God why we in these conditions. I probably was the only one that was asking that in my family. As far as I'm 11 years old asking why we in these conditions. I saw this when I was about 11, 12 years old. I ain't never think that I'm gonna be close to my 40 when the Lord, because it wasn't time for me to know that.
Right.
But everything the Lord has his purpose because I wouldn't receive it. Plus, what did I know? I wouldn't have knew nothing, but everything has its time. But I just think the Lord he showed me his grace. All the wickedness I was doing, I did more than enough for the Lord to destroy me, more than enough. But he see fit to keep me down. That's why I feel I have to go hard. I gotta, sometimes I don't even think I'm doing enough, but I try not to push myself too hard, but
Anybody else on that?
Yeah, if I
bottom line,
just before anybody start, I'm at work, right? So I'm gonna just listen, right? I can't answer any questions, right, guys?
Okay.
Just forgive me for that.
All right.
Right? Yeah. I'm not leaving. I just not gonna participate. I want to hear Willie's story, man. Yeah. All right, brothers. I'm hearing.
Brother Mo, what was you saying?
Yes, sir. If I could tell my younger self something, the first thing would be to get into the gospel, and stop wasting time. I wasted so much time listening to music, talking to girls, and like just stupid nonsense when I should have been studying the gospel and learning who I am, where I came from, who the Most High is, following the word, being a better person. Even like what Brother Willie was saying in regards to feeling embarrassment. Brother Willie, it's embarrassing once you learn who you are and you're not following the image of God. Because we was created in the image of God, but we're not doing what he told us to do. It's disrespectful to the Creator. And once I learned that, I felt horrible. I felt like, wow, man, I'm lucky to be alive right now. We on rented time, we on borrowed time, and look at the way we spending it. So I thank God he had mercy on me to talk to me and reach out to me and give me a second chance. Like, hey, man, you really slipping. So I would definitely tell my younger self, hey, man, stop wasting time because it ain't promised to nobody. It's really a gift. And if you keep burning it, you might not get any more. So,
Amen.
Yeah, point, just going back, like what you said just made me think again about man, and you kind of realize, at least in a certain part of your life, what you thought was a man, that's not what a man actually
right.
is.
Exactly.
Get in the word, you're like, oh, this is what a man is. What in the world am I doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's So like you say, you're wasting time, and it is a sort of shame that comes with that. Like, man, I have not been acting appropriately.
Exactly.
So
And as brethren, there's times where we're gonna have to tell each other that,
Mhm.
how confident in it. Hey, a couple weeks from now, Brother Willie might say, hey, Makai, what you doing, bro?
You know, listen,
Yeah.
And that's we
Yeah.
talk about manhood. That's real manhood.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yep.
They said that T.D. Jakes said David was gay. We know the passage that they try to use. Go ahead, brother.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no, I was gonna ask you about that. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah, and we know that that's not. I mean, that's brotherly love. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's true, man. Not
Right. Exactly.
with another man, like with woman. That's an abomination. And those are separate things that is easy to see. But because of men like that, that's why men today have a problem and are being overtaken by feminism and homosexuality, because other men, they desire that. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. That was it.
And you know what? Truthfully, in order to even have that kind of relationship with another man, it must be in the Most High. It must be in the Most High, because at the end of the day, how can I trust that your mindset won't go no further than that? Unless I know you limited by the Most High. You understand? So, yeah, like I've heard the rhetoric and this nonsense about David and the relationship with Jonathan, and it bothered me that someone even had the audacity to use that as an example to try to give homosexuality some room, some legway in the church, So yeah, I just want to say I'm still battling with COVID, for those who are watching, and my brethren here on the Zoom have been, keeping in contact with me daily. And this is even above and beyond my blood kin. So I just like to say thank you to my brethren here on the Zoom tonight. Y'all helped me get through supposedly one of the toughest diseases of our time. And the thoughts and the prayers and the text messages, they kept me going, because it was like, look, you facing that Hezekiah moment, and it was looking into my phone and being able to see all the positive energy by my brethren, brothers who never met, but we do this more than, like I said, my own blood. And thank the Lord, pulling through in my family, because 4 out of 5 people caught COVID in my house, and I brought it in. So it's a tough thing to feel like, man, not only sending your kids to hell, but you're killing them too. So it's not an easy walk, and I especially believe that your life just gets harder. It just gets harder when you walk in it according to the Most High. Definitely. So you're going to need brothers. You're going to need sisters. You're going to need elders. You're going to need leaders. You're going to need men. You're going to need this Bible. More than anything, you're going to need this Bible if no one else is there. So, Brother Elisha, I just want to say, all praise to the Most High for him leading you in my life. It's been 3 years. 3 years, and I got my own notebooks, probably like 4 composition notebooks of every one of your Saturdays. If they take these Bibles, brother, they take these Bibles, I got the word written down. And I just say thank you for that, for your devotion and you and your father. Much appreciated, because he led me in this direction and I haven't turned away. And life is getting harder, but it's with more sense being made. I understand why life is harder. I understand why I'm going through what I'm going through now. I understand why I'm in the position I'm in. I understand that I got to stay the course. These are things I didn't understand years ago. May have asked why before. I don't ask why no more. So, all praise to the Most High for what the Lord has been able to use you for, to bring this together, and to help people that we don't know to possibly save themselves and their households from what we've endured. And some of those who may have the opportunity to never go through what we've gone through. you know. So
Right.
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, praise the Most High. I'm humbled by that, brother. To be honest, the point.
Brother Elisha,
Yeah.
you did a lesson not long ago when you was speaking about us. People should put themselves in other people's shoes, and that's part of becoming humble. I think that's a key in being a man, you know, because pride is one of the biggest killers. I believe it's in the book of Proverbs chapter 6, and that's one of the 7 things God hates, if I'm not mistaken. And we all need to really, yes, sir, exactly. But pride is killing a lot of people, and it's destroying families, neighborhoods, society itself. I think we need to repent, man, as a collective. But, you know, otherwise it seems like the judgment is just gonna keep pouring on us.
Yeah. Pride will keep you from submitting to God.
Exactly.
And that collective repentance through the humility, you see that in the biblical text.
Yes.
Where at times the whole group turned back to God. They read the Torah, people wept and things like that. So definitely are people in need of reformation.
Right.
Like I always look at you see it in the days of Ezra and Nehemiah, but I always look at King Josiah.
Mm-hmm.
And the mindset, we need that badly.
Yes, sir.
As a collective. And you know, as far as like going back to what the brother was saying about as far as manhood, and checking each other, that's important.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and like in what brother Willie was saying, you know, I'll praise to the Most High, because like what you said, I did, brother. I'm thankful just to have the understanding, but somebody did that for me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't just know what I know because I put a lot of hours in, but I was able to sit at the feet, so to speak, of somebody and soak it all in. So I just know what somebody did for me. So I'm thankful. So it's a blessing.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, brother. Like, yeah, you
That's
don't.
enough. You go through your circumstances. We see Brother Willie, you know, had the COVID. It's a man that served God. He was on the chat. He had the COVID. He was still trying to serve God. You know, at the 3 Hebrew boys, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, when they were thrown in the fire. And when they came out, people wanted to serve the true and most high God. Ain't that what he said? It's true. You serve the true God. And so now when you coming out of this COVID and you continue to serve God in it, other people can see God being glorified. And they say,
right,
the God you serve, you know, and that's how we can continue to show people that, you know, we follow God. Don't have to say a word. You just use your action, your conversation, your lifestyle, and let God be glorified. So Brother Willie, yeah, you know, you are an inspiration to us as well, because
absolutely
you're going through what you're going through. And
right.
that's something that we can take heed to next time we go through our circumstance.
Amen.
And all praise to the Most High for that.
Yep.
All praise to the Most High for that. Wow.
He was on there. We was like, well, I know he on here.
Yeah.
Said, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, he on here.
Listen, it's,
all right. He said something, you know. So yeah.
Look, it's been
like when Sister Lula was on there, and she had just
lost her son.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't think there's no place else to go. Like, to be honest with you, like, where is there to go?
Yeah.
Where is there even if this was your deathbed, like, where are you going?
Right.
I mean, if the last thing I was gonna hear was a bunch of brothers and sisters praising the Lord, so be it. That's where I was gonna be. You understand what I'm saying? And number one, this is set in stone in my home, what I do on these days of the week. Right. You know what I mean? This is where I'm gonna be. I haven't missed a Zoom call yet. No COVID, and you know, all praise to the Most High. COVID couldn't stop that. So from the beginning, this is what we've done as a group. So like you guys say, inspiration for all of us, for myself to be here or to be in the meeting, not feeling all the way up to par, but it's beyond that. If you're going, this is the way you want it to go, you know. So that's, yeah, I always, you know, thought, you know, the Lord came at me at 35 years old. You know, I was 35, and I'm looking at the math. He said 70 years. I said 70. I said divide that by 2. I said, man, he gave me 35 years to do it my way. And it just felt like it was like, what you gonna do with the other half? Well, we could end this now. And that's how I looked at it. Was gave you 35 to do what you want. Now, other half belong to me. What you gonna do with it? It wasn't a choice. It wasn't a choice. You know, some people said they had a choice to make. There wasn't no choice. It was only one way. There was no other way around it. And you know what? You have to deal with what comes with it. You know, you have to deal with what comes with it. So all praise to the Most High, fellas. I'm just, you know, happy to be in the Most High with y'all, you know, and that's amazing. It's amazing.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord for that.
Brother, was you about to say something before we gonna shut it down in a minute? We've been on here about 1:17. Brother Yuli, was you saying something or you?
Yeah, I was just saying, brother, like, you know, I know some of the littlest things is amazing to me, what the Lord done, but I know it's nothing to God, but it's amazing to me. I remember when I was studying and before the Lord guided me into you, because I was saying, because some stuff I couldn't understand. I was humble enough to know that, you know, I was like, man, but I don't, you know, and now I prayed. I said, Lord, I said, I need a teacher. I need some help with this. Some of this I don't understand, you know, and it wasn't no accident. I was on YouTube and I was flipping it, and I saw this saw this guy with these dreads. I'm like, man, this dude, hey, talking good. You know, I'm listening to the scripts, I'm following along. I said, now this made sense, you know. And I said, okay, and I gave you a call. I was watching you already, but I left a message. You ended up hitting me back, and I'm like, I was shocked that you even called. I'm like, because usually when you hit somebody on, they don't call you back or nothing like that. You call like, yeah, this you. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, man, you like a little slippery around here, you know. But it was all due to God. You was humble too. You wouldn't even let me lift. You wouldn't even let me lift you up. You like, no, man, I'm just a baby in this. I'm like, man, if you're a baby, then shoot, I must be a sperm tailor then or something, you know. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I mean, if you a baby, I can't be a baby and you be a baby, you know. But yeah, you was humble, man. You was real humble. But I scared your daddy the first time I came up there. I'm sitting in there, you know, waiting. He turned around, he jumped. I'm like, man, you know. But yeah, y'all been a family to me ever since. I know how long it been, Elijah, boy, about 6 years.
It's been that long?
It been pretty long.
Oh man, it's a blur. Yeah, all praise the Most High. Ain't really nothing to get puffed up about. You know what I'm saying? If I know something, I don't know what I should, and anything I know, He gave to me. And y'all, to be honest, y'all think y'all be asking some questions. Man, when I was coming into the knowledge, brother, that's all, man. I called 5 in the morning. Don't do that, but I call 5 in the morning. Such and such. I mean, like, yeah, so it was, you know, it was a lot of, so that I'm just saying that to say it's like a lot still I don't know. I'm still learning. And then what I do know, I don't have no problem giving it to trying to give it to somebody else. Cause that's what happened. That's how I got it. And then if it's a gift that God gave to teach or aptitude to teach, He gave it.
Right.
I ain't got, like I said, I was telling Brother Willie, I was saying, it's almost making me feel uncomfortable. Like, you saying thank you, because I appreciate that. I understand where that's coming from. You know, I understand where that's coming from. But like, brother, I understand where that's coming from. But ain't nothing for me to be puffed up about at all. Because
Right.
he gave any aptitude that I have, and then somebody sat there, and I was just ignorant and didn't know. I one thing I always did though, I would ask, and I realized I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't know something, I ain't gonna sit there act like I know or talk about something, particularly where I don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So ain't nothing. Ain't nothing to be puffed up about, and none of that. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful to have a brother, and you know, because it does me well as well to be able to do what I feel like God gave me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because because we were talking about purpose earlier. That's my ultimate purpose.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
To me personally. And so to have, you know, people that will listen.
Right.
That's something.
Right.
You know? So,
This is just a confirmation that your purpose is you're on your purpose. It's just confirmation that you're on your purpose, because what he gave you to do, it's manifesting. And it's reverberating.
that somebody listening.
Somebody's listening. So, you know, we appreciate that was your purpose, you know. And the more we learn, the more we could, if it is our position to enlighten others, we will be well trained, or praise to the Most High, because he's sent proper trainer to help, you know, guide us so we can limit our mistakes in what we say, to keep them on the right in the truth, and nothing that is made up of our own. So,
and let me say this though, just speaking on that, got to put the time in.
right.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put the time in. You got to shoot those jumpers in the dark like Kobe. You got to put the time in.
Mm-hmm.
When people sleep, you got to put the time in. When you don't feel like it, you got to put the time in. Because people gonna come at you with all kind of questions, all kind of issues. And if you don't know, if that word is not in you, you can't even begin to address it. It ain't like you can fake it.
Mm-hmm.
You dealing with the truth. Now when you lying, you could just say whatever.
Freestyle.
Dealing with the truth, you can't fake it. So you really got to put the time in. It got to be to the point that it's like a lot of times, I've been in it a little while, and a lot of times, so I can imagine somebody's been in it 40 years, but like, it's a lot of times, man, it be questioning. I'm like, man, I have answered that question, forgot that question, answered that question, forgot that question again. That's how many, you know what I'm saying? So things come up, and it's so much, the word is so vast, and people can ask any and everything. And then it's funny, you know, you've been doing it a little while when stuff come all the way back around. It'll be something, they be like, man, how they did? This is how you address that. You forget 10 years later, here it come again. Like it was new. Like they said, that ain't nothing but the box. That dance ain't nothing but the box. It's the same thing they was talking about 10 years ago. So, and it's okay, like if you've been in it a longer time, and depending on what level you was in it, because everybody, just because you in it for a long time don't actually necessarily mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
As far as your understanding. Or your ability to convey what you understand to people so that they can understand.
Right.
That's straight up given by God. That ain't, you know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up given by God. So.
That's the truth.
All right, brother. It's been a blessing. I appreciate y'all, and we can do this again next week if y'all available, and we can talk more. Lord willing, tomorrow on the Sabbath, and I'll see y'all then. A few hours.
All right,
All right, brethren. Y'all be safe.
Yes, sir. Everyone, be safe.
Peace and
Peace to you
blessings,
all.
y'all.
Yeah, same here.
Peace out, guys.
Peace, guys.